I left corporate, built another income stream, took the break, travelled, had the room to breathe, did exactly what everyone says they want to do, and then I went back to my job. Not once, multiple times. And for years, I told myself it was strategic, that I was choosing it, that taking planned breaks and returning on my own terms was actually a sign that I'd figured something out. But it wasn't. I was being pulled back by something I hadn't really dealt with yet. And so here's what I feel a lot of people don't talk about honestly, because it doesn't make a good caption or a good piece of content, right? You get out of corporate, you feel the relief, and then the relief wears off. And underneath all of that, it's just you and your thoughts and a question you don't know how to answer. Now what? And who am I when I'm not that person I've always been in that particular job? And so you end up going back to the job, not necessarily to the same company, not even to the same role, but to the same shape, a title, a structure, a team, a place where you are clearly needed and clearly valued for very specific things. And you find a story to justify it. And I lived that cycle for literally years. And the whole time I thought I was doing it intentionally. I was actually being pulled back by a version of myself that hadn't changed yet. And eventually what I had to admit to myself was I wasn't being pulled back by the money or the practicalities. I was being pulled back by the person I still was. And that person hadn't really changed, because subconsciously I always knew I could get another job. And because that option was always there in the back of my mind, I never had to actually question whether I needed to structure my income differently. So I kept the safety net. And because that safety net was there, I kept falling into it. And I know that's not the glamorous, pretty picture a lot of people paint, because you're supposed to leave and not look back, right? You're supposed to have the breakthrough and build the thing and live the life. The cycle of leaving and going back doesn't fit that clean narrative, but it is so real for so many people. And I think a lot of people watching this have done their own version of it. Different shapes, same underlying dynamic. So here's what I want you to understand though. The cycle is not evidence that you are weak or uncommitted. The cycle is evidence that you are trying to execute a plan whilst also being the same person who needed the plan. And that doesn't work, because the exit plan is figure outable. The income side of this is figure outable. What keeps pulling you back is not the gap in strategy. It's that you haven't yet become the person who can sustain it. And that's not something that happens in a single decision. It's not a moment, it's an accumulation. And every time you make a call without being told to, every time something doesn't work out and you adjust without treating it as proof you were wrong to try, every time you back your own judgment instead of waiting for external permission, the cycle breaks piece by piece. And it only breaks fully when you've changed enough that the familiar pull of the structure stops feeling like relief. Not when you find the right moment to leave, not when the plan is perfect enough, when you are different enough that going back no longer feels like an option. And if you recognize yourself in any of this, I have a free newsletter where I talk about what it actually takes to become that new person, designing income strategies so that once you're gone, you stay gone, and how to ultimately build your income and your career around a life that you actually want. The link's in my bio to sign up.